Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the special events team meeting. It's an administrative function pulled together by the City of Boise with all of the agencies and organizations responsible for making sure that special events in our community are safe and fun and successful for everyone involved. So we have three really great events here today, some of our community's favorites. So excited to get started. We typically start with a round of introductions, so y'all know who's in the room and who you're talking to. Just a reminder, we don't give any thumbs up or thumbs downs today. It's just an opportunity to hear the plans, ask questions, go forward, and oftentimes there's some follow-ups. I know with these particular event organizers, we've been having lots and lots of meetings, so I suspect that this will be like a bit perfunctory. My name is Maria Wegg with the Office of Community Engagement here at the City of Boise, and we'll start with ACHD.
John Wasson, Ada County Highway District.
Ben Stoneman, Ada County Highway District.
Conrad McDaniel, Republic Services.
Vince Vergara, City of Boise Parking.
Dave Foch, Valley Regional Transit.
Julianne Hagler, City Risk Management.
Summer Altieri, Boise Parks and Rec.
Sierra Padilla Hewitt, Downtown Boise Association.
Cameo Rogers, Ada County Paramedics.
Jesse Tappert, Boise Fire Department.
Joe Desmond, Boise Fire Department.
Matt Konvalinka, Boise Police.
Rachel Holford, City of Boise Emergency Manager.
Dina Shubia, City Clerk Office.
Kelly Frank with the Boise City Clerk's Office.
And I think we've got a couple folks online. Ed?
Hi, Ed Graves, Public Works. Good to be back.
Sierra?
We do have Sierra online, but we're working on getting her added as a panelist, so it'll be just a moment.
Okay. Great. So the folks we have online, when we go around for questions, I'll call on them at their normally scheduled seating location rather than waiting till the end. So let's start with Gowan Thunder. Welcome back, you guys. It's great to see you. I'm a little intimidated by all the uniforms in the room. I'm not usually around that many uniforms, but if you want to talk 810s, I'm your girl. So let's go ahead and get started.
There it goes. Good morning. My name is Ryan Richardson. I'm a colonel in the Idaho Air National Guard. I'm the 124th Fighter Wing Deputy Wing Commander, and I'm your Joint Task Force Commander for this event. I've got with me a team that's been working really hard with all of you, so I'm excited to give them a chance to stand up and speak, but I wanted to start with saying thank you for all your time. Thank you to the city for the support that you've given so far, and the time you're taking today to talk to us. We look forward to continuing a good relationship. And the reason I'm opening up is I wanted you to see my face and know who I am, because any of you can reach out directly to me at any point if you have questions, concerns, things like that. We'll go around the room and do introductions really quick here. You guys just want to stand up and introduce yourself?
I'm Tony Vincelli. I'm the event director for Gowan Thunder.
Good morning. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Steve McCarg. I'm the Ground Operations Director.
I'm Chris Briley, Gallenfield Fire Department.
Good morning, Colonel Dennis Stitt. I'm with the Idaho Army National Guard and the Army Support Operations Director.
Good morning, I'm Jessica Bate. I am the Idaho National Guard MWR Director.
Good morning, I'm Ben Mahaffey, and I am the Traffic and Parking Director for Gowan Thunder.
Before I pass the mic over, every good military brief needs to start with some objectives. So I just wanted to let you know why we're doing this and why it's so important to the Idaho Military Division. So a lot of times when you think air show, you think Air Force, but this is a Idaho Military Division event. So a joint Army Air Force event that we're putting on. We've got multiple objectives, but our number one objective is to say thank you to our community. So in the Guard, about 80% of us are part-time. So we live and work in the community with employers in the community, and this is an opportunity for us to say thank you to them and let them come out, offer a free event for friends and family in the area, and let people come out and really get to know what we do and who we are. It's also going to give us an opportunity to demonstrate our joint capabilities, so Army and Air, and that will be intertwined throughout the show. We're very excited to share that with the people of Idaho, the people of Boise, and the taxpayers. It's going to give us an opportunity to enlist and re-enlist some folks that are choosing to serve and sacrifice for their country in front of the crowd, and ultimately just kind of promote patriotism and pride in what we do. So that's our overall objective for the brief. We're going to pass the mic and let the subject matter experts speak to each one of their points, and feel free to stop us and ask questions if that's the easiest way to proceed.
Thank you, sir. All right, so I'm just going to go through a few of the key items that were listed in the permit application. So obviously the Idaho National Guard is the sponsoring organization. We're going to be holding the event on the 26th and 27th of August. We are going to do a rehearsal day on the 25th. That's going to be geared for family members, not only of the military, but also first responders. So they can come out when there's maybe fewer people out. It'll be a little bit easier to get into the base and see the show. It'll probably be a much smaller crowd on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday be our peak days. We did do this in 2017. We had about 65,000 people on average each day in 2017. Nationally, air shows are beating attendance projections. So we're anticipating this year upwards of close to 75,000 on average per day. So it's a really, really big event. In fact, I believe it'll be the largest event in the state this year. Event beneficiary is our Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Program. Jessica Bate is our director of that nonprofit we have on base at, along with family programs that supports service members, family members, promotes resiliency, and just a variety of events and initiatives that we hold throughout the year as part of the MWR program. Benefits to the city. We did an estimate, some analysis with the Boise Convention and Visitors Bureau, and they estimated just shy of $5 million in economic impact for the weekend. That's with out-of-town travelers, hotels, all of the food trucks, vendors, some of the businesses that'll be participating and helping to support the event. So it really is a whole of community event, and we're very excited about that. Any questions on this slide? Okay. All right. I'm not the expert on road closures or traffic controls, and I will turn it over to Ben Mahaffey here in just a little bit. But big overview is we're going to do some road closures in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday. The road closures won't affect Friday at all, but Saturday and Sunday, those time windows and those roads and streets are going to be closed down with the help of Boise PD. Then we'll have flaggers and cones and signs and all that stuff throughout the day at basically from every direction that you can enter Gowan Field or that area will be clearly marked, and we'll have people guiding traffic, and we'll have a lot of buses on the road as well. The majority of people will be coming in, parking lots open at 8 a.m. and we expect through the morning and into the early afternoon, we're going to focus on getting people into the show. And then obviously towards the end of the day, our focus is going to shift, and we'll flip the lanes, and everybody will be focused on getting people out as quickly as possible. Vendors are going to set up on Friday or on very early in the morning on the 26th, and then tear down at the end of the day on Sunday. And we will have alcohol service. We're planning to have alcohol service from right when the show opens at 10:30 until the show closes at 4 o'clock. The gates will stay open until 5, let people kind of take their time getting out of the show. But for all intents and purposes, the event will end at 4 o'clock. Here's just kind of a quick rundown on how the day is going to be structured. So it's going to open up with an opening ceremony at 10:30. The U.S. Army Golden Knights parachute team will get us started at 10:45.
Go Army.
Right. Thanks, John. We're going to have a couple of intermissions to allow the Boise Airport to land and take off civilian aircraft. So from about 11:45 to 12:20, and then again at 1:35 until a little after 2 will be the intermissions. And we're going to keep the crowds occupied with musical performances. We've got a mounted cavalry color guard team coming in from Kansas. So a lot of things to do there to support the event when the airplanes are in the air. Obviously, the highlight of the day is the Air Force Thunderbirds demonstration team. They're going to be performing. They'll be our last act of the day. We don't like to publicize the schedule just because we want people to come out and enjoy the whole day instead of just focusing on one particular event. But that will be the kind of the culmination of each day is the Thunderbirds, and they'll perform for about an hour. Here's just a quick rundown on our show map as it stands currently. And this is by no means a finished product, but I will try to have you focus in just a couple of key areas of this map. Down in the bottom lower right-hand corner, you'll see 3 large white tents. That's our main hospitality area. That's where our sponsors are going to be. The Adjutant General and the Wing Commander and all of the distinguished visitors will be down there in one of those tents. And then we have a what's called Thunderdome, which is a paid ticket area for people who wanted to get, have a full catering and some other amenities, obviously shade, tables and chairs, air conditioning, all of that is going to be down there. The show, as was mentioned previously, is free to get in, but there are a few areas that people can purchase tickets. And right now, I think we've sold probably about 65 to 70% of our total ticket allotment for both days. So a lot of interest in paid tickets, but I'm sure that we're going to have many people that will just come out and enjoy the show, bring their camp chairs and grab a spot on the ramp to watch the planes. We're going to have a whole bunch of non-flying attractions. We're going to have that big building there in the kind of to the left of those tents is we're going to have a STEM expo center for kids with interactive exhibits. We're going to have bounce houses, we call it the Kids Zone, some other things going on there. And then the Army and Air Recruiting will have key spots on there. And then you can see our food trucks and beer service are centralized in 2 key spots on the ramp. On the large ramp on the left, we're going to have probably, I would guess, 20 to 30 food trucks. And then probably about half that many on the smaller ramp there on the right-hand side. And then the orange barrier there is snow fencing just to keep the crowds away from that show line. That show line is that solid red line that runs just on the south side of that yellow essential personnel only area. So nobody can go past that line unless they are essential personnel. And that's just obviously for safety purposes. The planes will be flying over the south runway there. That's kind of our show center. So we're going to keep people well back. I think it's 1,500 feet behind that flying area is where we're not going to allow the general public to be. Any questions on this map? Okay. And just wanted to let you know, there's a ton of information. I could have gone down numerous rabbit holes here, but all of these supporting documents for our application, all those plans are linked on this page. So if you click on any of those that are highlighted in blue, they'll link you to the actual plan to be able to let you see exactly what we're planning to do for some of those key things that were listed in the application for the permit. So you can take a look at those. There's only a couple. So just to update you on status, all of those are green, those top 6 or so. The last 4, the community notification plan, we're still working that. We're having a meeting on that tomorrow. Public Affairs is heavily involved with that. So we'll get that plan finalized and out, and I'll update this brief at that point. Our traffic and parking plan is imminently going to be done, I think, within the next day or so. The plan itself is done. It's just the company, the vendor, to provide the traffic control services for us. We're just finalizing that contract. And busing came in this morning, which we can talk a little bit more about, but we're going to have roughly 160 buses to support this event. So plan is to keep that wait time for people to leave the show as short as possible. So we want to make sure we have adequate capacity there. So that the numbers for the companies that are involved in that busing plan, that was just, I think, finalized this morning. And again, Colonel McCarg or Captain Mahaffey can talk specifics on that. And then we're working the supplemental permits with Jessica, talking, the alcohol and the catering and the Central District Health permits and ACHD permits and all that. That's in progress. We expect to be done with that within the next couple of weeks. Any questions there?
Tony, just one question on the porta potties. How many of those 180 are ADA accessible?
Great question. I believe I'd be guessing, but I know it's in that plan. I don't have it at the ready, but we can definitely get that answer for you.
Yeah, we just always check in on that to make sure that the ratios are correct.
For sure. And the company that we contracted with, they have a calculus that they run based on the number of people. So I'm hoping that we're in line with expectations there, but we'll make sure we get you that answer.
Yeah, sometimes we encourage, and Sierra may pop in with this as we go around and ask questions, but sometimes we encourage even higher because anybody can use an ADA
Sure.
porta potty, but if you need it and it's not there, right, you can't use that. So sometimes just best practices are to go a little bit above, even what the porta potty company is recommending.
Colonel Stitt said we're just at about a dozen of the 180 are ADA. So if that number needs to be adjusted upward, we can certainly do that.
I'll ask Sarah to look at the map and just see if that's going to make sense.
Sounds good. All right, I'll turn it over to Geraldo here.
Good morning. My name's Steve McCarg, as I've introduced myself to you. I have a team of 13 people that work for me for a variety of different tasks for ground operations specifically. My cohort is Lieutenant Colonel Jason Cobb. He's not here today. He deals with all the air and aviation related activities. So I'm strictly ground, which is everything related to security, EMS, fire, crash rescue, logistics, supply, communications, contracting, transportation, parking security, and all the other logistical components that we're going to be using. I want to talk specifically base security. We have a robust security plan. We are going to be hosting sixth generation aircraft. That is specifically the F-35. It comes with very specific security requirements that the public cannot touch the aircraft, cannot get real close at all. We are working with our partners in the FBI, Department of Defense, some other three-letter agencies, as well as Air Force Office of Special Investigation to display the aircraft to the public, to allow the public to see the aircraft, but we need to keep the public at a distance that is safe and secure. And that aircraft, I believe we'll have 3 aircraft. One will be doing a demonstration, and then one will be a spare, and then one will be on display for the public. So with that thought and the public and the numbers of folks we anticipate hosting, we have 85 of our own security force defenders. We have 25 Boise Police Department and local law enforcement supporting us, as well as Mountain Home Air Force Base. They are bringing a K-9 team. We also have a special tactics team that'll be positioned overwatch over the whole facility. And then we've been working very closely with Captain Mike Ruffalo, coordinating those security activities. And I can answer any kind of specific questions if you have concerns or questions about that. We will be screening guests at the parking lots. We have 30 metal detectors as well as wands, and we'll ask the public to go through there. There's a list of prohibited items as posted on the website. Obviously, bazookas, rocket launchers, nuclear bombs, hand grenades, those kind of things that you just really probably leave at home. And we'll have areas where we'll ask the public to take back to their vehicles and secure those things and ask them not to bring them to Gammon Field. Obviously, childcare, wagons, things of that nature obviously be allowed onto the buses. Vendors, exhibitors, media, and volunteers will be pre-screened at areas we've designated. We have 3 large medical tents in our entire medical group, which is about 65 members that'll be strategically placed across the areas to provide medical aid, cooling tents, those kind of things, water. We have breastfeeding area. We have a lost child area. We thought through and have looked at several air shows as well as our own experiences in 2017. Next slide. Obviously, this is now for public display. This is kind of tough for you to see because it's not real big, but we divided the airbase into 4 quadrants for emergency and security reasons. We've designed grids so we can rapidly and quickly respond to any kind of event. Both our local footprint, your local security and emergency operations teams have been briefed on this, how to find an area on Gowan Field rapidly in the event of some kind of concern. We currently have 2 contingencies for large-scale events. Our large-scale events would be a structure fire involving participants on our base, an aircraft that might go into the crowd, and our worst-case scenario would be some kind of shooting event. And we have a rapid and robust capability to respond to that very rapidly in the event of that. And those are our 3 planning factors, what we call top factors, and things that are really the scary things that we really need to be able to respond to rapidly to protect the public and DoD assets. Colonel Richardson is my boss. He is the direct conduit from me and my command vehicle. And I will be seated next to an up-armored Humvee that weighs 16,000 pounds and could be shot at with an RPG-7 and withstand the blast. So we are fully capable of responding to any kind of catastrophe, but he is the man to decide whether we cancel, halt, or alter the air show based on his inputs and what the situation dictates. Our concerns are obviously the 4 things there: assess, deny, affect, direct, and then some kind of action. So those are our 4 problem-solving contingencies that we'll be utilizing in the event of an event. Next slide. The next slide is really tough to see, and my apologies because it's so small, but I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure that y'all understand that this is a public meeting. So I notice on some of the slides.
It's
says,
fine.
okay.
Yeah. We recognize that. These are our egress routes that we will use in the event that there's an emergency. In large crowds, it's been our experience that we do not want to panic the public. We want the public to be able to orderly walk away from a situation in which we have some kind of control. So in the event of a fire, for instance, my coordination with Fire Chief Brearley here would obviously be to dispatch his forces to the fire and extinguish the fire, take care of any kind of injured personnel. But what we don't want to have is people panic. And if you've ever seen a panicked crowd, they go bonkers and just go running around. So what we want to be able to do is our security forces and our EMS fire crash rescue will open gates at strategic points, allowing the public to vote with their feet and leave the area if they feel like their safety is in jeopardy. So we'll not bus people. We will open gates at specific routes that are color coded and allow the public to walk back to the parking lots if they so desire. That way we can kind of control the event, kind of keep things at a very moderate, peaceful tone, and prevent any kind of stampede or where the public really panics and wants to leave immediately and they're starting to climb fences or something like that. So I think this is a very good idea. This has been used at several air shows that we've looked at, and it allows for us to have some control over the loudspeakers, the air boss, potentially Colonel Rob Richardson or one of his designees would be able to tell the public, we need you to move over here so that crash fire rescue can do what they need to do and affect the situation. Any other questions about this? Next slide. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Captain Ben Mahaffey for traffic control and parking.
You take a look at the graphic that we have up on here. I realize there's a lot going on, so I'll draw your attention to the 3 primary and 2 secondary modes of ingress into the area of the airfield there. So one of them would be coming off of the freeway on Orchard, and in the AM, that would be 2 lanes coming in. They'll primarily feed into one of our 3 primary lots, and each of these 3 primary areas coming in feeds to a specific lot. If you're coming off the freeway and coming westbound on Gowan, you'll be fed to our Warthog lot, which is the future 3rd runway out there, but that's the same thing, 2 lanes coming in, 1 lane going out. And then the 3rd of the primary axis of bringing people in is in that newer Lake Hazel to Orchard bypass back there that was put in the last couple of years. Same thing with that route coming in, 2 lanes coming in, 1 going out. The 2 secondary areas or other ways to get in, Pleasant Valley will be open, a lane coming northbound on it, and it'll be directed into one of those traffic lots. An important point there, though, it won't be open to the public all the way through if someone's trying to drive through. It will be open, getting people to the show, but not all the way in. The other is over on Victory. You can see there are a couple of colored lots. They're a little bit small on this, but they're green and yellow up there. For reference, they're really close to the landing lights at the end of the runway there. So those open areas down there is another area that we're parking in. Ideally, the traffic would come in on Victory from there. So it gives us an extra area. The section of Gowan that goes out through some of the businesses and some of the junkyards there out to the west of the airfield will be closed to traffic, but law enforcement would be allowed through, buses will be allowed through. So that's how we're bringing people in from those Victory lots. We'll put them on buses, bring them in those routes and on base from there. It's split about 50-50 for people coming into the base from the west, kind of by the Humane Society in there, and people coming in from the Micron side, so from east to west. If you advance to the next slide, please, you'll notice it looks very similar, but in the PM, instead of there being 2 lanes coming in on each of those primary axes, it will switch to 2 lanes going out on those primary axes. On each of those, though, notably different from last year, we're not planning on making all of the traffic one way on any one of the routes, which actually allows for a lot more flexibility of response and dealing with things, because all of those lanes are operating in both directions at all times. Next slide, please. I talked a little bit about some of those lots, but this is just an illustration of primarily where they're at. At the bottom right of that graphic in blue, you can see the Micron lot. We're still planning on using the north side of the Micron parking lot, and that will be bussed in along Gowan, and that will be brought into the show right next to the main control tower there. So in one of our gates, looking at the green in the bottom center, that's Warthog. That's our single biggest lot. That will be taking all of the traffic that is coming from east to west along Gowan there, and being bussed in from there as well. If you look up from that, those are not public parking lots. One of them is for VIPs and one of them is for people working on the show. So those will get there how they can. Moving over to yellow and kind of the left side there, you can see that Skull lot. That is going to be primarily fed from the Lake Hazel Orchard access that's coming in from that side, 2 lanes coming in, feeding into Skull. Moving slightly up from that, you have Blackhawk, which is what used to be the Putt-Putt back about 20 years ago. It's across from like Bus Automotive there, just north of the old sewage treatment area there. That will be the primary fill point for anyone coming off the freeway and coming southbound on Orchard. So 2 lanes will be filling in there. The red lots up above that is actually 2 lots. We're calling those Elk and Snake. Those are both there along Victory, and we'll be bringing them in, as I stated earlier, through the extra area of Gowan there along back through the junkyards on that side, which will be
Hey,
closed.
Ben, what is the distance between the ADA parking and the showgrounds?
ADA parking is on base, so it is by far the closest. ADA is coming through the main gate, and they will be able to get through all the checkpoints with a placard.
Great.
On their vehicle.
The only reason I ask is that a golf cart is a great idea for folks that have the ability to stand up and get into the golf cart. It's not a good solution for folks who permanently use wheelchairs. Great. But like you can do those golf carts, you can use your wheelchair to get into the golf cart. Great.
And
what you're asking is I think that solution.
Oh, y'all need to use your mics. I forgot to tell you. My Chief Master Sergeant just came in to let me know that
yes, to your point, we'll come up with a solution that allows for folks that want to stay in their chair, in the wheelchairs, to get transported to base or to the showgrounds area.
Thank you.
in addition, a significant portion of that on-base parking is in range of them personally wheeling into the show. There is some of it that is too far away, and that's why we have the transportation options. But as it fills up, we will first fill the close-in sections, which are absolutely in range. Parking and shuttles, already talked about a little bit of what they're moving. This is just colors depicting the same as the parking lot, showing where we're planning on using the bus routes. So they are planned to use as little of the road that the public is using as possible. And for the most part, we're able to not overlap where traffic is going to be going. I'd say that's an 80 or 90% solution. There are a couple of places where the buses are going to cross with traffic, and in those areas, we will have traffic control available to facilitate, that movement as quick as possible.
So this is just a list for me and for you to know where we're at and when we expect to have these things done. So as you can see, the busing traffic control contract and the community notification planner will be done by the end of this week. And then, assuming that everything is set with the traffic control plan, we'll get that ACHD special event permit, which is obviously a prerequisite for the city special event permit. And then we'll be finalizing the vendor list over the next couple of weeks, finalizing the show map on or about the 15th of August. And then I know Jessica is going to work closely with Kelly and get the information that we need on the permits and the licenses to get everything squared away on that. So all things should be done no later than the 15th of August and ideally sooner. You have any questions?
I think we can just go around the room now. Thanks, you guys. We are exceptionally excited to have the air show back. I know it's a lot to put on. There's a lot of moving parts. It is rare that we work with event organizers that bring their own full medical units, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So also appreciate your patience and all the different questions and double checking and cross checking. I think it's going to be a fantastic event. So we will start with ACHD.
Currently, we're awaiting the traffic control plan. We've got about the 70% solution. Major changes that have happened is obviously the Lake Hazel extension and the rebuild of the bridge at the east end of Gowan Road. So that'll add some capacity in there. But we just need to get the traffic control plan and then spend as much time as it needs to be reviewed. If I recall right, Captain Mahaffey, we're not planning on bicycles this year because the bicycle, all you have to do is nod your head, because the bicycle usage in 2017 was absolutely in the dumps. There was virtually nobody bicycling to the event, and the Garden ACHD worked and had a fairly robust plan for bikes, and it just wasn't utilized. So if it gets utilized more this year, we can plan for 4 years from now to increase that utilization. That's all I've got right now.
Actually, Conrad, let's go to Ed.
All right. Hey, thank you for your presentation. Just a couple of quick questions. How will the alcohol, how will it be served? Like cans or yeah?
Good morning, sir. We actually will be doing, I call it RTD, ready to drink. So yes, it will be cans. We are also looking at CSB as one of our sponsors. So we also are doing aluminum. The air show, our intent is to have a green show. So everything is going to be served in aluminum. All of our water, our beverages, whether it be poured, pop top, whatever the case may be.
Perfect. Thank you. And also, I noticed on your application, you check marked electronically distributing the vendor low waste guide. I just want to make sure that you will, once your vendors are selected, go ahead and get that to them just to further your low waste event to them.
Yes, correct.
Perfect. And thank you. I was 10 years in the fuel shop. I was the one picking up cans from all my colleagues that wouldn't throw them in the trash. So I appreciate the green you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you for presenting today. And thank you for your service. Another thank you. We are the contract hauler on the base for trash and recycling, and we're very grateful for that. Any of you work with Kendall Burns directly from my team? Okay, and that's okay. But Kendall Burns is an employee of Republic Services, and she's the one-on-one contact with the base. And so if there was any concern on our end, she would have brought it up to me. And it sounds like you guys on your end are good to go there. You have plenty of service and a personal contact to manage those things. So I have nothing unless you have a question for me about trash and recycling.
I don't think so.
Yes.
But I'm the Army Construction and Facility Maintenance Officer for the state. So I manage the solid waste team for the Idaho National Guard, and Kendall Burns deals directly with my team. So,
oh, thank you. Yes, she's very proud to have that contact. So thank you.
We are not going to need anything from you, City of Boise Parking. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm glad to see that you have found enough buses to haul people in and out. And I know that we've been working with you for several months to try and identify the resources that we have. And I guess from here, we'll just sign the contracts. Have a good show.
Right. Thank you.
Nothing for mismanagement.
Nothing from Parks.
Thanks for the great presentation. As this is outside of the downtown core, we don't require the neighborhood notifications, but I do appreciate that you're putting together a community notification plan. I just recommend that you, of course, include any altered traffic patterns and a general summary of all the noise. So that would be great. Thanks.
Gotcha.
Do we have Sierra as a panelist? Great. Sarah, hopefully I didn't usurp your questions.
This is Sarah. All good. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, team, too. This is an incredible event. My nephew loves planes, so I might have to pass it along to him. Maria was right. The dispersed, I do appreciate that the porta potties are dispersed in the event. Legally, it is a 5% minimum, have to be ADA, which y'all have met with the 9, but considering the vast number of people showing up to the event, I would probably recommend 10, which would be 18, and again, dispersing those. The golf cart shuttle, I'm happy to partner. There might be some resources in town we can tap into, but y'all already might have some accessible fleets at your availability too. And then I also noticed the infant care tent. I really appreciate the inclusionary aspects to your event. So thank you so much, and holler if you need help.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for your service. I'm excited for this event. I'm bummed the fair is going on, so I'm going to have to be working that. But I've been working closely with the fire department on the medical plan, so I don't have any questions or concerns at this time.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate the presentation too. Very, very thorough. We already talked about possible permitting issues at the before the meeting, so that's good to go. The food trucks, we'd like to request that they're supposed to have, they should all know this, they're supposed to have their fire department inspections to operate. And the way you know that is they have an orange sticker on their food truck. So if you could just help us out with enforcing that, that would be great. Bleachers, how big are your bleachers that you're going to have? I noticed there was bleachers on one of the maps.
Here's, it escapes me. We have capacity for, we are selling 500 tickets per day to the bleacher area, but we have capacity for upwards of 600 people.
Okay.
I believe each, I'd be guessing.
Okay, that's fine. And then,
but we don't know. Yeah, they're 5 sets, but I'm not exactly sure in terms of dimensions how large they are.
and the chief, if I could get your personal contact info, that way we can coordinate with your prevention division and just kind of coordinate a walkthrough together. That'd be wonderful. That's all I have. Thank you.
No, operationally, we have nothing. You guys are great partners with us. Appreciate Chris. Over the years, we've been able to work interoperably, do training together. We have several of your members on our department, and I can't thank you enough for coming and presenting and then providing us with the personnel that we bring on to our department as a whole. They're always top-notch people. So thank you for everything you do, and thanks for the presentation. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. We've been working for the past several months. We don't have anything at this time. Or I don't have anything on the police side, I should say. On the alcohol permitting side, if you have any questions, we could certainly get together offline. I can help you out with that. Any questions there, but on that, police is good. Thank you.
Well, hello. I feel like we have meetings all the time. So
Right.
as it's already been stated, we've been meeting with Gowan regularly on this. Thank you so much for including us in those conversations and also being open to several of the conversations that we have and the experience we have in supporting large events. So really the only things are just, we need to get those things finalized. We need to have those finalized maps so that we can then feed that into our existing plans to be able to support. So for this group, the city will be hosting a EOC at the airport, which many of us will be sitting in there, and we will be coordinating directly with Gowan's EOC to support them as needed. So thank you again.
Thanks, Rachel.
Great to meet all of you in person. Jessica, I will schedule a meeting just for us to talk offline. If you could, and I'll email you this too, but if you could have a map of your current alcohol service area available, and then a list of the vendors that you have for food trucks, for the booths, any that you that have the facilities on base, and then just let us know if they're, cooking at the facility and just bringing the prepared food over to a tent for VIP, or if they're cooking in VIP. So we'll just get in the weeds of all that and then go through everything step by step. Hopefully we can do that this week or the first part of next week, but I will get that scheduled today. Thank you.
Thanks so much, you guys.
All right, thank you very much.
Looking forward
Appreciate
to it. All right, Spirit of Boise, you are up. Wait, where's Mike? No, no worries. I'm just. And Pete, we are
All right,
happy.
here we go.
Pete, we're happy to have you. We're very, very happy to have you.
I will not be doing the announcements on stage, so because I can't use a mic, obviously. So yeah, this will be the 32nd annual. I think I've been involved with the event for about 15 years now. So again, just super excited to bring it back. So the overview for the event this year, it's just really a community support event, that we just love to put on there in the park. I don't know about the rest of you, but when I see the balloons and when I'm coming in the morning, kind of makes me feel good about where I live. So we just want to continue that tradition out there. Last year, we made several changes to the event as far as the parking plan goes, access to the park during the night glow. I'm the first one to admit I was a little hesitant last year with some of it, kind of changing things up because we've trained people for 32 years on what to do. And it worked really, really well, I have to say. So overall for the event, nothing's going to change as far as the structure, the timing, everything that we have set up for it this year. I apologize on the original two. There was a map that was supposed to be included on that. So I'll individually send that out to everybody and we'll update those as we go along. So the event will be August 30th through September 3rd, with our night glow being on Friday, September 1st. So Should I go through the entire presentation with everybody, or does everybody kind of gone through? I know we've done it for a couple of years.
Maybe just kind of quickly touch on things.
Okay, great. So the parking plan, a couple of the changes that we made last year that really worked out well, and it worked out for safety issues, is for the night glow portion of the event, closing down access to the park at different times. We still had ADA parking that was available over at the administration building. We also had an overflow plan for that portion of it, an exit plan. As far as the road closure goes on Americana side, it worked really, really well to have a right turn close and a left turn close into the Americana access. We plan to do that again and working with Northwest Traffic again. So Dean will send you over a copy of that as soon as it's done for 2023. One thing that did come up from last year for the event is parking on Crescent Rim. A lot of spectators decided to park up on Crescent Rim. We initially had a plan to close off some parking on at least one side of the street. It didn't happen. We'd like to implement that this year on the park side of Crescent Rim, just to keep at least an access lane going through and keep those people safe that are walking through that area as well. We were excited to bring in roughly about 52 balloons this year. We've got 4 shaped balloons that we're bringing in: a house, a sheep, a pumpkin, and a rocket. So we're looking forward to bringing those in and seeing those fly over the city. So the event runs again August 30th, starting off with Kids Day. We give roughly about 5,000 rides to kids on that day. We're going to up the amount of balloons from a dozen to about 20 that we'll have there on site. We're hoping for cooler temperatures this year, so we don't go through too much propane and they can stay up a little bit longer and provide those rides. Thursday morning will be our first official launch. So the balloons will actually take flight, weather permitting. Friday is our VIP day, so we will have the morning launch for that, and that's where the sponsors get to go up and enjoy the balloons. Friday night, Night Glow starts at roughly about 5:30. We'll go till 10 p.m. Where we have demonstrations for the kids, inflates where they can actually go up and physically touch the balloons before the Night Glow event starts. We'll end that at about 10 o'clock. Saturday morning, we'll do another launch at sunrise, again, weather permitting, the balloons will fly. And then Sunday, my favorite day, not just because it's the end of the event, but it is our great launch. So we will try to get roughly all 50 balloons off the ground within about 2 minutes. So the photo opportunities for that particular portion of it, it doesn't matter where you look, there's balloons in the sky. So, and that's pretty much it for the event.
That's great. Thank you so much. And thank you for the changes from last year and being open to that. We were chatting with an event organizer recently, and it's hard, right? Like Boise's changed a lot in the last 30 years. And so we train the community around these events, and then we've got to be open to figuring out, like, with the way our community changes and is a dynamic, how can we help events make changes to the way that we're doing things. So appreciate that. Understand that it's really, really hard. Just know that it's based on a dynamic environment. And so it's really, we appreciate event organizers to partner with us on that.
No, absolutely. And since we've got access to the radio stations, it was adopted very well and the message got out to the public a lot quicker. So we just have a little bit more as far as resources go to be able to get out that information. I think it worked really well.
John Watson, ACHD. Typically, this doesn't have any impact on the right of way just because it's all contained in the park. If we want to close down part or all of Crescent Rim, we will need a traffic control plan, and we'll need the traffic control plan for Americana. Obviously, at the end of the Night Glow, I fully expect the police to take control of Americana and do whatever they want to do, short of destroying it, to get people out of the park. I would like to work with Summer, the neighborhood, and you to determine whether we really want to close down part of Crescent Rim or we want to turn it into a 4th of July full closure and enhance overall public safety because I can just see people parking on lawns and whoever owns a Simplot house calling us and saying they had 14 people in their driveway and half their plants are missing and things like that. So I just want to explore the potential with all partners and obviously Maria and the city to see if that's the best option at this point in time, or if we want to just do half closure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
John is our resident optimist.
Yeah, and really, as far as the street closure goes, I think, in my opinion, closing down the whole street, is unnecessary for that portion. It's just really parking on one side. It's a narrow street. When you get parking on both sides, it is public parking in that area, or it's open to parking in that area. And then you add in foot traffic, it does just get a little thick there. So if we started off maybe with one side just close to parking, that'll alleviate some of the flow issues that go through there.
All right, Ed, you're up.
Well, thank you for the presentation again. Yeah, excited for this event. Just quickly, quickly, what is your trash recycling plan? Because one, I will say 100 trash boxes you'll have to get from Republic Services. So you have to coordinate with Conrad or Dawn over there. We can get you the 40 yellow recycling bins. If we feel like 40, if that's what you need, we can talk offline on that more. But just, yeah, quickly, who's going to come get them? Who's going to set them out and then bring them back, sort of thing?
Yeah, my staff will pick them up and then also drop them off. I know in a couple of years in the past, we've taken them over to Art in the Park and dropped them off after because that Monday is a holiday. Our plan and the way that we do it is we do put the boxes out. We do put the recycle bins out, or the containers, the yellow containers. We do that in stages because the event grows all the way up to Night Glow. So basically on Wednesday, it's roughly about 30%. Thursday, we go up to about 40%, Friday, 100%, and then we peel it back a little bit on Saturday and Sunday, and make sure that we're not stressing the material that you guys provide to us as well.
Yeah. Okay. No, that sounds great. And just, yeah, thank you for checking the vendor low waste guide that you will electronically distribute that to any and all of your vendors. We will work over email. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Hey, good to see you.
Yeah. Actually, in regards to the boxes, I had Summer keep the ones from 4th of July, so they're on site. And if your team needs more, Summer, I'm happy to get them to you. As far as return, yes, in the past we had you take them to Art in the Park, but that was kind of because we were so low supply. I'd like to get Art in the Park a new set of boxes. So if you could send somebody, or maybe Summer staff can bring them back to the Republic Services office on Executive Drive after Labor Day, that'd be great.
Yeah, we can have them delivered by Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll be closed Monday, so.
Great.
Your application, this is a little technical here. Your application lists 2 20-yard boxes and for trash, and then 1 20-yard for recycle, which is different than what you had in the past. It's actually a little bit less. It's 2 small containers instead of like 1 giant container for trash. Was there a reason, or were you think you guys are just checking boxes? Or?
Yeah, so we moved around where we did some of the placement, and the real heavy pressure is in the food vendor area for the Night Glow portion of it. And how we had it set up last year was fine. And we can talk about that again if we need to change it around and up that a little bit, where we can do that. I know we didn't fill what we had, last year, but part of that was the plan helping out where we placed.
Okay. Yeah, because I also checked the system. I didn't see an order for it, so it doesn't look like anything's been done to actually get the ball rolling on that. So we can have that conversation further. Yeah.
Great. We'll get that done with you.
Yeah. And the map's important to us too.
Yeah.
So thank
Absolutely.
you.
So because the event is in the park, we really don't have any concerns with Boise City parking, which is downtown. So we're good to go.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I haven't seen a copy of your insurance come through, so if you can get that, that'd be great.
Yep, I know it's been purchased and we'll forward on a copy.
Thank
for
you.
it.
Hi. Hey, we're going to work more offline so we can get through it, but I want to make sure, are you having drone show or no drone show?
No drone show this year.
Thank you, friend. I love the drone show, but we need to make a different plan if we were going to do that. Parks is going to cover the parking this time. We'll work with Boise Police Department and see what they want to do for Crescent Rim and ACHD. I think really that's it for right now, and everything else we can just touch base on our other meeting.
Thanks, Em.
Hey, similar to Gowan, this is outside of the downtown core, so I don't require them, but I do recommend the notifications beyond just the radio. If you can do paper ones too, that would be stellar. So
Great,
thanks.
appreciate it. Thanks.
Nope, sorry, Sierra.
Hi there. My only question is porta potties. I couldn't tell. Do y'all add those to the park?
Yes, we do. I think we have roughly 25 different units and 8 of those are ADA accessible.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Hi, Pete. So there's no medical plan yet that I noticed in there. So we'll definitely want to talk about what that will look like. Rachel will talk about the safety and security meeting. And then I'm going to send you guys a matrix that we're using now for medical, so you guys can be prepared for that safety and security meeting.
Okay, yeah, and our plan is to utilize at this point Victory Medical again.
Okay.
To have them actually physically there on site. So,
Okay.
so we'll have that portion.
Will they be there every day?
So right now they're just scheduled for the night glow, but I know
Okay.
we have the safety meeting coming up, so we can.
Okay,
go
yeah,
over
and we can
details.
talk about that more offline.
I don't have a whole lot either. Just make sure you get your separate Boise Fire special events permit applied for online. And then just a reminder, the propane refueling area. I think last year we determined 100-foot perimeter around that where no other vehicles can get close and, ignition sources and such. So just keep that clear. Just a reminder. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, for us, the medical matrix is kind of the key for us. We've got a partnership with Ada County and the city, and we've agreed upon a plan that is not only for big events like yourself, but we can relay it to small events so everybody's treated equally and nobody gets special service. So it's pretty straightforward to look at. Cameo is going to forward that to you. It should be easy to do that. We always worry about taxing, of course, our downtown resources for this event. But that being said, it's a great event. I love it and I wish you success on it. So if you have any questions on that or your medical matrix, you can contact Cameo or myself.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you for the presentation. As far as the traffic control on Crescent Rim, we can have a further discussion about that safety and security meeting. It would be my preference to close it off just because of the issues we've had in the past. And in actuality, at your event, we see more people there than we do at the 4th of July parade. So it's becoming kind of an issue. So we could discuss that further, but other than that, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hi, Pete.
Hey,
So
Rachel.
glad you're back. Thank you for already reaching out to us on several of these items. So we're just going to go ahead with the safety and security meeting and we'll work through all of these fine details, but so thankful for the changes that were made last year. Massive improvements for us to be able to build upon this year and just make those small tweaks. So you have that on your calendar and we look forward to seeing you.
All right, appreciate
Thanks.
this.
Yes, I mimic everyone else. We had some good changes last year and it's helping us to have kind of a uniform footprint in the park. So patrons know what to expect at 4th of July and the Balloon Festival. So thank you for that. Let's see, food and beverage vendor list.
So that I believe it's due in August. So we'll actually have it on, I believe. the
Yeah, you still
29th.
have about another week and a half. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure that that was coming along. And then if there's anything else that you guys need, don't hesitate to reach out. But we'll be back in touch next week just to check on that. And
Yeah, I believe our plan is to have the final list to you on Monday.
Okay.
And about 90% of them are vendors that we use for other events. So we
yeah, I think probably, well, the only thing with your other event being in Garden City, there's
Right.
a little bit of confusion with the city of Boise and Garden City, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for to
They're,
help work
yeah,
those
they're
out.
eating and drinking license and all that.
Yep.
So yeah, they'll be
Thank you,
handled
Pete.
on that.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We look forward to it.
All right. Thank you guys.
Give our best to Mike. All right. Last but definitely not least, Art in the Park. Welcome up. Another fan favorite. And I love that it overlaps with Pride. It's so fun to go to Pride and then walk over to the park for Art in the Park. Oh, good for me then, not so much for you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. And we have been so grateful for your support over the years. Thank you very much, everyone. This will be our 69th year for Art in the Park. So this is a 3-day event. Each weekend, each year, the weekend after Labor Day, we feature 240 artists and roughly 30 to 40 food vendors. The dates this year are September 8 through 10. This is our largest annual fundraiser, and it supports our mission to create visual arts experiences, engage people, and inspire learning through exceptional exhibitions, collections, and educational opportunities. So this slide shows just some highlights. We tend to expect roughly 250,000 people of all ages over the course of the weekend. And we have activities including shopping from those more than 240 artists, 28 food vendors. We feature a children's art tent, and we have a sculpture garden pub just behind the museum. Benefits to the city of Boise, supporting the city's vision, mission, and values to create a city for everyone. Celebrating diversity in our community, promoting the visual arts as a thriving part of our local economy and benefit to all. We look forward to welcoming people from not just the Pacific Northwest, but really all across the country. This shows the layout. So some highlights on the layout. The artist booths are positioned throughout the park, and they are numbered on this map. The food vendor locations are indicated by the black dots, primarily along the perimeter and the roadways and parking stalls, with a few black dots sort of throughout the park as well. The portable restrooms are in the 4 corner areas with 2 accessible units, one of which is near the children's art tent up sort of northwest, and one near the band shell. Also, the park restrooms include ADA units. The 3 welcome centers are placed at pathway entrances, and the information booth, which is basically BAM staff headquarters, is just behind the museum there along the mall pathway. The first aid station is just next to that information booth where we have injury care. Their ambulance will be parked on the turf. They will also have an ambulance in a parking spot just to the north, just west of the children's art tent. Also indicated on the map are 3 bike rack corrals. Parking for those with disabled permits will be available in the north parking area, which is sort of off the map there, but just to the north. This is our security staffing plan, which is just about the same as previous years. We will also have Boise Police patrolling the park during the hours of the event. This is our map of the Sculpture Garden Pub. The hours are Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Craig Stein Beverage is our beer and wine provider. The bartenders are hired by BAM. Signal security will be checking IDs and will be wristbanding at the entrance there on the right side. Then all exits will be marked, no alcohol permitted beyond this point. There will be another exit on the other side, monitored by security as well. For the medical plan, again, injury care EMS will be providing our first aid services. They are located, again, just next to the BAM information booth. They will be provided radios for communicating with security team and BAM staff. Their ambulance will be on the turf there at that location. You can see in the picture, that's roughly where it will be again. There will also be that ambulance in the parking lot. We have submitted our Ada County Special Events Medical Plan. Just next to that tent, we will have wheelchairs available, and nearby, near the information booth, we will have golf cars available for courtesy transport and mobility. Our accessibility plan. So 2 ADA portable restrooms will be available. I mentioned those in the layout. Additionally, the park lavatories have those restrooms available. Parking with disabled permit is available in that parking lot just to the north of the main layout. Artists and food vendors have been supplied with accessibility guidelines for their booths. We will have volunteer sighted guides available for those with low vision or no vision to provide spoken descriptions and instructions throughout the park. Again, wheelchairs will be available for checkout at the information booth. Welcome centers are a great resource for all. We have put in place some accessibility features to our event maps and other printed materials, as well as materials on our website. Here is the trash and recycling plan. We will pick up those 75 yellow recycling bins from City Hall on Tuesday ahead of the event. It's a pretty standard plan, just the same as previous years. We will return those yellow recycling bins to City Hall after the event on Monday. This is our traffic plan. I have put the barricade locations on the map indicated by the red bars. Things to note here, it's really small on the map, I apologize, but there will be an emergency vehicles only barricade. It's the fourth one in as you're coming into the park from Capitol. We will have designated areas. This map is also issued to